Welcome back to Capitol Review. Black women have made history in politics over the years, especially in the Democratic Party. But what about the Republican Party? Joining Capitol Review is Cheyanne Daniels, and she's the race and politics reporter with our media partners at The Hill. And welcome back, Cheyanne.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's talk about this new political shift that we could see with black women in the GOP.
Absolutely. You know, as you mentioned, Black women have been making history for some time. When we think about Vice President Kamala Harris, when we think about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, and even Senator LaFonza Butler, who is currently the only Black woman serving in the Senate, we are seeing Black women really making strides, but many of them are aligned with the Democratic Party. But what we're starting to hear now is some rumblings that Black voters in general are becoming disenfranchised and disillusioned with Democrats, and as such, they're becoming what we are told is Republican curious. They're starting to look to see what can the Republican Party offer that maybe the Democratic Party can't, and that's where we're starting to see some candidates pop up, for instance, in Virginia with Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, and even in Maryland with Kimberly Klacik, who's running for Congress as well.
Well, you spoke with Kimberly Klacik recently. She made waves, of course, during the 2020 election cycle, and obviously she's currently a candidate in Maryland's 2nd Congressional District. Tell us about that conversation that you had with her.
It was really enlightening. So she told me that she sees the Republican Party not maybe as many of us see it today, but as the way Frederick Douglass saw the Republican Party. She said that she finds that there's more freedom for her to be in the Republican Party. And she added that one of the biggest things that draws her to the Republican Party is the fact that it's much more welcoming, she says, and much more easy to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur. And that's something that's really important to her.
I just wonder, Cheyanne, you know, the extreme right of the Republican Party, they have a tendency to have a bit of a racial and social tinge to it. Is that an obstacle, you think, for black women, or just black men and women in general who want to move forward, or, like you say, take a peek at the Republican Party?
Yeah, so we also spoke with Councilwoman Roxanne Bumadu, who is a councilwoman for Bowie, Maryland, and she acknowledged that. She said, you know what, we do have issues when it comes to some of the perceptions, particularly around Black Americans being welcome or not being welcome in the Republican Party. And she points to things such as the debate around diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And she said that the Republican Party really has to take a moment to understand that by welcoming Black voters, by welcoming Black candidates, we're not taking something necessarily away from a different faction of the party, and that they have to recognize how important and how good, frankly, it could be for them to have these different perceptions and to really start to counterbalance the narrative that we are hearing that the Republican Party isn't welcoming to Black folks.
So, Cheyanne, where do you see the future of black women in the GOP?
I think that right now is just sort of the beginning. That's not to say that suddenly Black Americans are going to flock to the Republican Party, although we do hear some hopes for that happening. But I do think that there are inroads being made. And we see that when we look to Kimberly Klacik, when we look to Roxanne Bumadu, is that they're saying we're here trying to change what the Republican Party is saying, what the Republican Party is viewing. And they're saying we're here to get our voices in the door. We're here to get our voices at the table. And by doing that, we're opening up the door for so many more Black women.
Is this good, you think, for black women, or just black culture in general, is to make a push into the GOP? The perception, at least growing up, was, you know, Democrats will take care of the issues that that black folks are facing. But you just wonder, with African Americans or black people in the GOP and the Democratic Party, is that good for us as far as the big picture?
So when speaking with Roxy and with Kimberly, they both say yes, right? And Roxy even goes as far as to say maybe we're too hung up on political parties in this nation. Maybe instead what we need to do is just focus on where our values lie, right? And in doing that, we don't have to have parties. And that way then people can just vote to where their heart and where their minds say they need to vote. And so for Roxy, she says that she, as well as many other first generation Americans, as well as many other Black Americans in general, will carry these values that prioritize family, that prioritize really traditional values. And so by opening the door into the Republican Party, changing the idea of what traditional values looks like to the Republican Party so that it's more opening to those who come from immigrant families, to those who come from families of color, what we're really doing is saying that democracy and politics are for everyone, regardless of where you find yourself aligning on the political spectrum.
Cheyanne Daniels, thank you very much for joining us.